Ladies and gentlemen, the entire stock market is basically failing in 2025, yet we are up 220% with elite traders and investors. Sounds like clickbait? It's absolutely not, so let's straight dive right in. Here is how I make plus 220% in 2025. Important, this is actually quite simple. Here you can see a screenshot of my trading account, which I took just a couple of minutes ago. And you can see in a trade, I'm basically in 3 open trades at the moment. One trade of plus 85%, second trade of plus 83%, and third trade up 53%. Over the course of the past 5 months, since the beginning of 2025, together with elite traders and investors, we took exactly 6 trades. You might already ask yourself, well, isn't 6 trades just a ridiculously low number? And no, it's actually not. You might think that 6 trades is nothing, but with 6 decent trades, and I will go over the individual trades in just a second, you're already able to outperform 99.9% of traders. Here is how. In the beginning of 2025, I actually closed out 2 trades during the stock market correction. I'm definitely also not a holy person, so during 2025, the first trade which I closed out was actually a 50% loss. You might once again think, well, 50% is quite a lot, but it all just comes down to risk management and your position sizing. 50% is nothing too dramatic if you're not risking your entire account. Second trade of 2025 was actually, I have to be that honest, once again a loss of minus 50%. Again, not a lot if you consider the position size, but obviously 50% just happens every once in a while. Then the third trade of 2025 was actually a 100% win. And I was able to close out this 100% win right during the overall stock market correction. Why? Because even if we have a stock market correction, and no, I was not shorting the stock market, even if we have a stock market correction, there are certain stocks which are creating new all-time highs. I was able to actually, by just regularly screening the watch list, to find such a super duper bullish stock. I entered a position, and during the correction, we were able to close it out for a profit of plus 100%. This trade then actually paid for the 50% loss and for the first 50% loss of 2025. So far, we're sitting at break even. Now, as you can see by looking at the screenshot above, I'm in 3 open trades, which are basically the 3 remaining trades. One is up approximately plus 80%. The second one is up approximately plus 80%. And the third one is up approximately plus 50%. And it was all shared live with elite traders and investors. If we now actually calculate our entire amount, as I mentioned, this 100% canceled out a 50 and it canceled out this 50. So we're up 80 plus 80 is 160 plus 50 is 210. So we're up 210% approximately. We divide this by actually the 6 trades which we took, which means 35% so far up in 2025 just with our trades. Obviously, you should never use the entire money which you have to your name for trading. You should always have something for your day-to-day spending, for long-term investments. But just with trades, we're up 35% so far in 2025. Obviously, you want to know how we actually did this. And we did this by simply following what I call the market matrix. You might not be familiar with the market matrix, which is absolutely not a problem because I actually invented the market matrix myself. And it's basically covering everything which you need in order to start making money with trading. There are 3 key aspects of the market matrix, which is position, strategy. I'm actually not calling this a trading strategy because the word trading is just overused. Everybody wants to be a trader and 99% of traders fail. So I actually call it a position strategy, which is basically just a strategy for your position. But obviously this is just one of the 3 very important criteria. The next thing which we have is called risk execution, which basically deals with everything regarding risk. This is even more important than your position strategy, because the only thing which we can control as traders is our risk. We cannot control where the market moves, when the market moves, how the market moves, but we can control our risk on any given position. Finally, we also actually need, let me go ahead and remove all of this. Finally, the last criteria which we need is called mindset control. And this is basically not the actual trading itself, not the execution or the strategy of your trading, but it's the mindset which you have when you enter a trade. And part of that mindset is already what I talked about. Part of that mindset is that we only took exactly 6 trades during 2025 so far, basically just focusing on the very high probability setups, entering those setups and letting them play out. This is already part of the mindset. Now here's the beauty with the market matrix, because so far obviously this is not a matrix, but each of these, so strategy, execution and control, apply to all 3 criteria. So they apply to position, they apply to risk, and they actually apply to mindset. So here we are, here we have the market matrix. Based off your level, so whether you're a learner, you are already an earner, or you are what I would call a returner, which is basically just a person who knows everything and is just coming back every single month, every single week to trade the markets and to look at the positions. Regardless of who you are, the market matrix still applies to every stage. Because what I'm about to tell you is not the entire market matrix, but it's just the key aspects which I think are very relevant to you. But depending on the stage which you're at, you basically have to follow a slightly different market matrix in order to make money with your positions. Now let me just give you a couple of examples. Position strategy, for example, you have to look at market structure, which I will just abbreviate with MS. Then we do have our risk strategy, which, for example, covers our risk to reward ratio. Again, this is obviously not the full market matrix. There is a lot more to this, but I just want to give you a quick overview. And then we have the mindset strategy, which basically just deals with alerts. Then we have the second thing, execution, position execution. What do you do when you execute a position? Yep, you, for example, have to look at a stop loss. When you're therefore also executing risk, you have to look at your position size, which is again the most important thing. Finally, we do have mindset execution. What do you do when you actually execute your mindset? You can, for example, start journaling. I will just write journal. And finally, once you executed everything, obviously you also have to control position, risk, and mindset. So for position control, you can now, for example, look at new market structure, which is actually developing once you're in the position. With risk control, how can you actually control your risk? Very important, you can just use scale ins or scale outs, which you can do once you executed your trade and now you're actually about to control your trade. And finally, how can you control your mindset? Also right here, it's not that difficult. One thing which you can do is just restrict your chart time, which basically just means that you're looking less at charts. This basically was applied to all 6 of the trades. Depending on the stage which you're in, you have different aspects of the market matrix, but the 3 criteria, so position strategy, risk execution, and mindset control, stay the same. If you master everything, then you're able to also execute trades like these, which once again, for reference, you will also have losses like we do. But if you do have the proper market matrix mastered, your wins will just be a lot larger than your losses. And this was basically how we were able to make a decent profit of plus 35% in 2025 just by trading. If you need any help with what I just mentioned, I know it's a lot and it might be a little bit confusing, you can just go ahead and click the first link in the description and join the free elite trading community, where we are over 700 traders right now, and we're just basically doing exactly that. We're having a position strategy, risk execution, and mindset control. If you want to take your trading to the next level, then you can just go ahead and become an elite trader or an elite trader and investor, where you do get one-on-one personalized help. So I will help you improve your trading and ultimately just make more money. With that being said, don't get overwhelmed. You will learn everything. This is just part of the trading process. I will see you in the free elite trading community. And with that being said, in the end, just remember, you keep your long-term vision.